Welcome to Six in the City, the podcast where 620-somethings talk about shit and some of them live in cities.
I'm Jen.
I'm Lexi.
I'm Nancy.
I'm Elena.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Robin.
Well, hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about how we met. How did we meet, Nancy?
Oh, Elena, thank you for calling me out like that.
You're welcome.
It's safe to say that we all met in college, and for the most part, we all essentially met through a sorority that we are a part of. Though I met Jane and Robin later, and I actually have a funny story about Robin that I would like to share about how I met her and my first impression.
Please do.
So we're going to dive right in. So I already knew of Robin through Jen, because Jen during freshman year would always, after we had joined a sorority together, would be like, Nancy, you and Robin are the same exact person. You guys really need to meet each other. And every time she said this, it kind of made me feel some type of way, because I'm just there can only be one Nancy. And I know it's Robin, but I'm just thinking there's this other person that is exactly like me. What the heck? So I was low-key a little jealous, because Jen would always talk about Robin. And I'm like, what the heck? Am I not special enough? So all throughout freshman year, I just kept hearing about this amazing Robin that is apparently like me. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I never met Robin. I don't think I ever met Robin all throughout freshman year. And then going to sophomore year, a couple of us, Lexi and Elena, and I moved in a little bit early to campus. And our college does this thing where if you move in early, you can move in a little early if you help the freshman move in. So that's what we did. So that was when I actually met Robin. But it was funny. I remember it distinctly. We were in the freshman building, but we were actually not doing any work. Lexi, Elena, I, and a couple other people. We
Exposing us. Okay.
Whatever.
That's so facts, though.
But we were sitting on one of the really top floors, in the corner, trying to avoid doing work, because it was just really hot, humidity in the summer of DC. And then Robin and her group of volunteers came along, and that's when I made eye contact with her, and I was like, oh, that's Robin. But in my mind, I was like, oh, that's Robin. But then I was like, I wonder if she thinks anything of me, because she's actually hard at work doing work, whereas I was not doing work with everyone else. So that was my first time, and that was my first impression of Robin. Is oh, she's goody two shoes, that actually does the work, whereas I felt she probably thought ill of me because I was not doing work. But that was my first impression of Robin, in case no one knew.
That is very funny, because I also remember that moment very vividly. I was hauling ass that day, sweating so much in that stupid yellow t-shirt to help move in these freshmen. And I remember I was like, okay, I need to take a break. So I escaped to that. I don't even remember what floor it was, but it was higher up. And so I was going to try and find a corner or a hallway where there were no parents and no students, so I could just take a breath. And then I see at the corner Nancy, Elena, and Lexi sitting on their phones, and they're giggling to each other, showing each other their screens. And I was like, well, I knew Elena and Lexi, so I think I did just wave in passing. And I was like, okay, I need to swerve. I can't just stand here because they've already claimed the spot. But I remember thinking this is what it means to have friends. You can just hide away together and not actually have to help freshmen move in. But I just distinctly remember being I have no friends here. That's why I'm working. But those three have each other, and that's why they can get away with this. And I was so jealous. So I also remember that, Nancy. And I didn't think ill of any of you. I was just jealous.
Wait, where was Jen?
Jen wasn't there.
Jen didn't move in early.
Yeah, she didn't move in early.
I didn't move in early.
I was going to say, weren't you friends with Jen?
Oh, yes. Well, so that's the thing. Nancy mentioned that all of us met through the sorority, but I've met most of you before the sorority. So for me, that's a lot. And even Nancy, I met you through Jen before the sorority and everything. So
We went on that brunch date at that chicken place.
We did.
It was fun. Good time.
And that's when I liked Robin. I was like, yes.
I felt like a third wheel. It's so funny because I remember, I mean, even throughout freshman year, Jen said the same thing she said to you, but to me, being like, oh, you're so similar to Nancy. I think you would get along so well. I never thought bad of it. I mean, I was like, okay, cool. I should, meet Nancy. I feel like we'd get along really well. But like that never happened. But then it was so funny because I honestly feel like Nancy and Jane is a lot more similar than me and Nancy are. Like now that we all know each other a lot more.
It's weird because I only met Jen and Nancy through the sorority. Everyone else I knew beforehand. But yeah. Yeah, I remember one day me and Jane were like hanging out and I was already in the sorority by this point. I literally talk about this all the time, so she
This
definitely
was
knows
in
what I'm talking
Gelman,
about.
right? Like the library.
Yeah, we were doing like a project for our student org, and she didn't know I was in the sorority, and she was like, "Oh, like that sorority, it's like such a cult. I can't believe anyone would join it." And I just like side-eyed. I was like, "Oh yeah, like so culty, so bad."
And then Jane joined like 2 years later.
No, literally,
3
yeah.
years later, yeah. Because this was like basically, well, I mean, not like beginning, but like towards like middle, basically, of like freshman year.
I was just gonna say, like, the reason why I include Robin and Jane in my like I met all of you guys through the sorority is because I met you guys through other people through the sorority. So like if it weren't for I wasn't in the same organization that some of you guys met through outside of the sorority. So if I had not joined the sorority, I would not have met you guys in any capacity, except for Lexi. Lexi and I actually met before. Lexi, do you want to share your perspective?
The funny thing is, Nancy and I had a class together, but did not speak to each other or realize that one another was in a class until
This is like
far into the class. Even
this is
though
a small class.
I think there were like 10 kids.
Yeah.
And so we were joining the sorority at the same time, and it just did not click. Which is so funny. I still think back. And like, it's like the last 2 classes we realized. Like, there were like 2 days of class that we realized that we were both in the class, which is hilarious.
Right. But also before Lexi, we talked to each other about potentially rooming together.
Yes.
And it didn't work out. I just want to put it out there. Lexi ghosted me. But then we ended up living together. Even though we weren't roommates, we were in the same house sophomore year. So everything happens for a reason.
That's true. I met Elena on the internet too.
That's true.
We, the first year of college, lived a floor apart in the same dorm. So I guess that's sort of how we met. Like, we met on the internet, but like...
True. I don't think we would have been as close if we didn't both live in the same dorm.
Yeah. And if we
sure.
didn't both join a sorority together. Like,
well, yeah, I mean, that one too.
That's probably a big factor. But yeah, no, I think it was... And we both had roommates with the same name. So our experience...
That is very true.
And we were in Korean class together. Lots of layers.
So many layers. Like an onion.
Yeah, like an onion.
Wait, Jen, I remember so specifically, like I can't remember the first time I like met any of you guys, anyone else, but I remember Jen so specifically.
Is it my hair?
I mean, yes,
my
you had,
ugly
like,
ass hair. No one told me it was
hair.
ugly.
Okay, it wasn't ugly. Okay, well, the first time I saw you was at a Rush event, but the first time I actually like made eye contact with you was like after we both like joined the sorority and we were sitting in that room. And you looked so intimidating. I was like, this girl is so cool. Like, look at her outfit. Look at her hair. Like, she knows what she wants in life. And then you looked at me and you were like,
I was so shy.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, she hates me. But it's okay because I do the same thing. Do you guys remember the first time you like saw anyone else? Because I only remember Jen.
I'll say, like for Nancy, Lexi, and Elena, it feels like a blur because like we met through the sorority, so it all just kind of like jumbles, into like one big memory. But I remember the first time I met Robin was Robin is actually like my longest friend I've had from college because I literally met her like the day before school started, like whenever Target Takeover was. and that's where I met Robin. The day we were, right? We were.
No, we
I don't know if I met you
before.
at Target or like before.
It was before. It was like the weekend before when we all like moved in, and it was at
Yeah.
Pelham. And
Yes,
you were sitting, and
Oh,
we said hi.
yeah. I just
She
remember
introduced
Robin.
us.
And we have a picture together with like the Target mascot. You remember?
Yeah.
Vivid
So
memory.
it was a few days before Target Takeover, but Target Takeover was the first time that we actually like spoke and like engaged. Whereas like the first time we met was literally just like, hi, I'm Robin. Hi, I'm Jen. Bye. That was it.
And for Jane, like, I don't know when I met Jane. It's probably through the student org. But one thing I remember is Jane invited me to her birthday party freshman year, and low-key, like, I didn't know why. Because like,
It's because I didn't have friends.
I was really honored. I was like, can't believe I got an invite to Jane's KBBQ party.
No, it's because, okay, I feel like you guys all have like these cute stories, but like I seriously didn't have friends freshman year. Like I knew of Nancy. I don't even know if I knew of you in freshman year.
I think so. I don't think I
Yeah.
knew of you freshman
Yeah,
year
but like
either.
You went to
Elena, like,
banquet though, so you must have seen her.
I'm not sure I've seen her. Like obviously I knew Lexi, Elena, Robin. I don't think we were like close, Robin, right?
I have
Were we
my
close?
story, but it's okay.
No, we were close. Okay, wait.
No, we weren't
Robin,
close. We weren't close.
Robin,
It's
I
okay.
think the first like real memory I have of like our interaction was like at GWIB.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay, I was there with like a friend from CI who's no longer my friend. But
You like that?
it'd be like, yeah. So we went there because there was like free pizza, right? And I was like GW, like women in business. And like at the time I was like in the business school. So I was like, okay, like cool, like women in business, free pizza. So like I was with my friend and like Robin was there, and then we like bonded over the fact that we were both in like long distance relationships. And then I was like, wait, like Robin's really chill. And I think that's when like I would say like that would be like the start of our like friendship. Would you agree?
Yes, I agree. I was gonna bring that up too. At GWIB, you were there, and I was like, oh, cool, because mind you, also, like we were probably the 3 only Asian girls there.
Oh yeah, it was
So
all
like,
white people.
yeah, so I gravitated towards you immediately. Plus, like I like kind of knew you were in the same student org, so like you said, we bonded. But I just remember very distinctly, it was free pizza, and we were like, yeah, I came here for the free pizza, like LOL, me too. And then we both wanted a second slice because we were like, this is our free lunch, and I was way too like nervous to go get a second slice because like no one else was, and you were like, fuck it, and you just went and got like piled your plate with 2 more, and then you're like, do you want this other one? And I was like, I didn't take it because I didn't know you like that at the time, but I was like, damn, this girl is just, she doesn't give a fuck, like she doesn't give a care in the world, like she just takes what she wants. And I was like, she's so cool. And then
Oh,
I
that's
remember
so
you
funny.
being like, okay, I'm gonna go now, bye. And I was like, huh? And
Wait,
Wait,
what?
that's so Jane.
you left, and I was like, are we friends now? And I like wasn't sure, but
Oh,
I'm pretty sure like
no.
after that we would say hi.
My first like actual like memory that I can remember of where what I would count as actually meeting Jane, because it's like my first real interaction with Jane was when she and Robin came over to the house and had like a wine night. Jane was just sitting there with her RBF, and I kept like glancing at her because it's like my first time actually like being in close proximity with her, like instead of like just hearing what you guys talk about. So she just had this major RBF, and everything she's like, every time she talked, it was just like the RBF. And so then every time she like addressed me in some capacity, it was with that RBF. And I was like, does this girl hate me? Like why does she not like me? Like, what did I do wrong? So that's why I jokingly, but not jokingly, say like, I legitimately thought Jane hated me because like she had that RBF, and I didn't get close to Jane at all until after she joined the sorority. For me, at least, like I didn't like get close with you legitimately like until after we graduated. And even with like Lexi and Elena, I didn't feel close with you guys until sophomore year.
I think when we first joined, you and Jen were like a pair, like a really
Right.
close, and like Ellen and I knew each other because we lived so near each other. But then sophomore year, since all four of us got to live together, that was like a mega bonding experience.
Right.
Yes.
Jen, I feel like you and I didn't get really, really close until senior year either, and we started living
Yeah,
together.
when we lived together, yeah.
Because I think like yeah, we were like on KCO
Great
work
time.
together,
Mhm.
but I remember we never like individually hung out. But like I wanted to, right?
But yeah, we definitely got closer senior year because of it.
Yeah.
We lived together. Maybe that summer, going into senior year too, because that summer a lot of people stayed in DC for the.
That's what I was
For that
gonna
summer?
say. I remember you guys hanging out a lot because that's when
Yeah.
you both were in the area.
I remember it was like 4th of July, and like you were giving me a foot massage, and I like, do you remember that?
No.
Y'all were
Yeah,
close.
Why did I do
Intimate.
that?
It wasn't like an actual foot massage. It was just like my feet were on you for some reason, and you just like you're just like touching my feet.
Watch out, Nancy might get jealous.
Yeah, like no one. I stayed this summer with Elena, and she never gave me a foot massage. Like
You
whoa,
never
what
gave
the
me
heck?
one either.
Valid. But I felt like I felt like Elena and I don't know about Elena, but I felt like I really bonded with her that summer.
Oh,
like
for
to
sure.
a different level, staying there
Like
that
sophomore.
summer.
You mean sophomore year summer though, right? Not
Like
we're-
going into junior year.
yes,
that summer
yes.
going. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys remember the first time we like hung out as a group? But not in like a sorority context.
Like,
'cause,
just
obviously,
not
event.
yeah,
Like
like
it
Never?
has to be all 6 of us.
well, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like wishy-washy since a lot of people. But like, I guess not the first, but like one of the first few times. I guess it would have to been senior year, right? Like, I feel like we got close as a group as we neared like graduation and stuff. But like,
We were busy
Kinda-
the second semester of senior year, and we all
That's
knew
true.
each other were busy, and we were accommodating of each other, and I think that helped a lot because other people didn't understand how busy we were, but we all understood how busy we were.
We were traveling
That's
together.
facts.
Yeah.
that's true.
Really early morning hours.
I feel
That's
like
true.
I'm trying to think, and there's so many moments where it's like one or two of us missing, but I can't remember a very early moment of all 6 of us that wasn't an official event or like getting
Right.
Starbucks
The photo
before an
shoot.
event or something.
Right, right,
Except for
right.
the photo shoot. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we were more like as a group after we graduated because there was no context of like
And like
Yeah.
pre-graduation, when we hung out, sometimes there was like another person.
that's true.
Yeah, I feel like once we graduated, we became like the class of 2019 alums, and that
Yes.
just like really
Mm.
pushed us together more.
But have we all, since we've graduated, been in the same room? Because there's always someone missing.
There's always someone missing.
We also haven't gone on a trip all together.
No.
It's always at least like someone missing or
Yeah, or like we're split up.
But like, I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I don't really feel like I'm missing out on interaction with you guys because we talk every single
Yeah,
day.
I know,
Too more
honestly.
now than we did before.
We're so obsessed with each other.
Since the pandemic started, I don't think we've gone a day without someone talking to someone. And because it's a group chat, we all read it. So even if you're not actively responding, you're still like seeing
touch.
it. So you're still a part
Yeah.
of it.
I don't think so either. Like after doing like we started doing the podcast, like not only would we like text, but like we literally like hang out and talk
Yeah, very
at least
very
every
fast.
week. Because like even before that, we we're doing like PowerPoint parties every other month. But like now we literally get on Zoom once a week.
I really feel like Discord was like a key turning point for
I agree.
like our communication because like
Mhm.
the amount of channels that we have is
many
so many,
channels.
and you like add new ones like every other month or something, and there's like 5 conversations going on at the same time. It's
I
pretty
love
wild.
it. It keeps things organized. Like I feel like if it was just one
It does.
text chain, like we would forget some of the things, but the fact that we have it broken down into all these different sections, it's like, oh, let me decide which section this goes in, and then you see what someone else said in that like topic, and you're like, oh, So yeah, this is a sign. If you are listening and your friend group doesn't have a Discord, get one.
One of the funniest things I think with their Discord is like we're all it's like the daytime and we're all working or in classes and someone is like, I have tea and everyone is suddenly active and we're like, oh, we should hop on voice and we're all just on voice
The middle of
at
the
like 2
workday. I love
p.m.
it.
I'm like multitasking my work, but we're all just talking because we're all so invested in the tea at that moment. I think that's so funny. And it happens more than once. So like we're pretty good.
I also think that we got really lucky with our friend group size because if there's too few, then it's so easy that if like one person says something and the other like couple people aren't available, then it kind of doesn't pop off. But usually there's always at least one or two or three or four other people or five who can like instantly respond and engage in the conversation. And so even if there are a couple people who don't actually participate in that topic, and like don't get to it till later, it's like that original person doesn't feel ignored. But then also what I've noticed is that when group chats in general are too big, then you also see people not participating because it's so intimidating and you like feel like your voice can get lost. So I feel like 6 is such a good like healthy number for a
And
group
it's
chat.
even.
And it's even, yeah. So I like that about us. Not that we planned it, but
Yeah, we're fantastic. It's also like when we like do things together, I feel like because there's 6 of us, it's like a really good size where it's like some of us like want to do like thing A, the other want to do like thing B, so like really works out. Like
Also, if we're sitting
all
in a
like
restaurant, 3-3 instead of like one person at the end. That was wild, y'all. I'm glad I met you. We wouldn't even have this podcast if I hadn't met you. So props to sororities, props to Discord, snaps. Thank you for listening.
Hi guys, this is Nancy, message from the editor here. This episode is actually the last episode of season 1. Six in the City podcast will be taking a short break, but we will be resuming with the first episode of season 2 on Sunday, September 12th. So be on the lookout for that. We really appreciate your support so far, and we look forward to bringing you a new season. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Six in the City. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at sixinthecitypod.
This episode was edited by Nancy with music brought to you by Gandhira Pratama.